Okay, are these still on?
Yeah, we're still running. Let me transition.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Well, you could see that I put some notes here for everybody from listening to that. For some reason it popped up on the phone the other day, and to me it was another sign about the time in which we're living, and also about what we're getting ready to do. Because you noticed when we was over in the library, the bookstore the other day, and we went in a box, and it was a whole box of those lead the team, strategic management, or strategic thinking. All of those were like from back in the 80s, 70s and 80s. No, more like 80s. The first time I really, in fact the book is back in the library, in my book, it's called The Magic of Thinking Big. I just took a big, or managed a big shipment, you know, coming up to the United States. And they have what's called the ABC Islands down in South America. Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And so when I came, you know, when you come back, instead of going down through Central America, sometimes I just go back whichever way I want. So I went back probably through Jamaica and Curacao. Curacao is an island, and they got all them, they got red houses, orange houses, pink houses. And they speak a language called Papiamento. That's Dutch, Spanish, they might say Buenos Dias, and they say Dankeschön, you know. Papiamento is 4 basic languages. It's a black island. It's called Curacao. So I came back, and then I was just walking down. This is a big touristy place too also. I was walking down the street, and there's looked like a bookstore, book in the window, and I saw a book, you know, it had the same title that Negroes were talking in those days, The Magic of Thinking Big. It's right back there, I still have it. Well, I got a new one. Dr. David Schwartz. This is one of those Think and Grow Rich type books. Now, I'd heard motivational stuff before, but the only thing I had was The Richest Man in Babylon. And I kind of liked that, but it wasn't a detailed how to think, how to visualize, how to, you know, it wasn't detailed like that. So The Richest Man in Babylon is just a story. So anyway, when I got on the plane going back to Colombia, I just opened the book and I started reading. I said, man, to me, now, this is the first time I've read one of those books. And so that type of book became my companion. This is the way I think. This is the way, you know what I mean? And then it's a motivational type thing. And at that time, I thought, I said, man, if I would have had this book, I would have did this different and that different. But I don't say that now. I'm glad that I didn't read no book like that before. Like, I'm glad that I didn't hear this tape till the other day, because it's the right time to hear this tape. And I say that because it was in the mid-'80s. If y'all remember, I had a package of tapes, and it had Potential Unlimited. You know those on management, on self-image, psychology, and all of that. I made those in the 80s for the Negroes in the neighborhood. And it was about management and organization. I couldn't teach them how to deal dope, because that's haram. No, but I could teach them about management, organization, and they could listen to all that, because all the kids who was really moving, they was about my son's age, you know, like right now, they'd be up in their 50s. So, this right here, at that time I had two big choices, because there was a guy called Les Brown. He was just, I didn't know of him yet, but I became aware of him within that period of time. And he had a group thing called Potential Unlimited. The exact same thing that the lectures are the same. Like, you can listen, when you listen to this guy, he's saying exactly the same thing that we've been saying all the time for the last 40 or 50 years. He's saying almost exactly. Now, he may not have learned all those lessons. He may be talking a lot now, because he's probably kind of still young. But those kind of people prepare the way for us. I want you to think about it. If he gets to enough people, and he gets popularized, right? He can raise up enough young people, right? Or that type of person, because there's other guys kind of like him. They can raise up a cadre of people that are prepared for us. You see what I mean? Because they mention stuff like, if you don't like the world, change and do all that, But where we are right now in thinking and acting, or we're getting ready to act like that, is so far ahead of everybody that if they can get that implemented, that will prepare them to be ready for us. Am I making any sense at all? And we can't get to the people. They're not going to, it's not that we can't do it, but the system is not going to allow it. Okay? Now, when he gets this little thing going, they'll probably do just like they did Les Brown. Les Brown became very popular. It's possible, you know. Now, I like listening to Les Brown. But I made a choice at that time. I had the choice to become a motivational speaker, because I did. In those days, I spoke kind of more like that than I do now. You know, when you get older, you kind of mellow off, and you get a little hikmah, you know. And because brothers like that will say things like, when people run up against certain things and they get knocked down, they quit. Well, a lot of the people that we know, what the government hit them with, they wasn't quitters, they just killed them. You know what I mean? So you gotta imagine now, if all our people see that if you stand up and try to do something for yourself, well, it's a death sentence almost, you know what I mean? So pretty soon that stuff settled into you. But the way this is being presented is presented the exact pattern that we came in, with physical fitness, running long miles, you know, and with hands weights and sweat stuff on. It just toughens you up, you know what I mean? And get up in the morning, well, we just happen to If my friends was boxers, if they had to go to work, be at work at 7 o'clock, we had to get up just in time to get to the hills, get to run in, and then get to work. Because in the early years, I had to go to work too. And we had to be at work at 7 o'clock. So you had to get up, plus most boxers ran in the morning too. So all those things, we're grateful for the preparation. The preparation is deep. It's not only the physical fitness, the discipline, but one of the things that we're so grateful about is just like what he was saying, that thing about being alone and learning about that stuff, man, that's so deep. It's unbelievable. But that goes back to what we've already talked about, that Allah, before he puts you through something, he gonna give you the training to deal with it. You see what I mean? So that's that type of delivery reminds me of when I made a decision. I could either become a big-time motivational speaker, you know, which I was doing good. You can see I got all the credentials and, you know, I know what I'm talking. Plus, I've not only done it, but I listen to everybody in the world, you know what I mean? That's all I do, all day, all night, you know. And so, but there's a difference. They got a whole group of people. One of my friends that was, he was a rich Arab, Christian Arab. He was in prison with me. And he gave me one of the best sales course I ever heard, you know. It was some old salesman back in the 60s, you know, Cabot Robert. And so they was all part of these speakers bureaus. See, they got a speakers bureau all over the world. And like this guy here will fall in line on that speakers bureau. And he'll probably start chipping up, because he's good at what he's doing. Okay, now, the way we are, if we're good for each other, since we've been so challenged, imagine when white kids listen to that. Because you can see what he's talking about, stuff white kids never heard. A few of them now. They didn't have a daddy, their daddy was in prison, and nobody loves you and all that. Well, the white kids feel like that, and they maybe don't have a big reason. But now, you know, they getting that opium and opiates and crank and all that. They getting the workout now.
And identity. Now they don't even know who they are.
Hey, just imagine. See, what happened to me was, personally, I don't want to be too personal, but I do in a way, because I want to blend all this together. I had a choice at that time to either become a kind of motivational speaker, or I was just being around a lot of the brothers from Iran. And you know, when you've been through all of this, you can pick out what they need. So what he's doing right then, I did that same type of speaking to Iranians, but with an Islamic background, and I did it all the time. And that was more important than an economic venture off into motivational speaking, motivational tapes, and you know, being on TV and all that. So I chose that specifically. But that's what I did for them. That's why the stature, you know what I mean? It was serious. All the old ones, you can see all the old ones going to say, we was at your thing and da-da-da-da-da, and they all, that was because, remember, they're all young college kids here from overseas. They're doing stuff and they don't have no idea what it means to carry Imam Khomeini's picture up and down the street in demonstrations all the time, shouting, "Marg Marg America," and they know what you mean, death to America. I said, boy, look at here. So that's a job that I took. Now, I took that job and they responded properly. I mean, it was a very close relationship. You know, it meant a lot to them. I'm not going to say, well, we helped keep them together here, but in America, we watched their back. Because remember, everybody going to be shooting at them. Everybody, every group, every Negro, everybody was shooting at them. They didn't have no friends. So when I said the other week that I mentioned to them at a big program in Houston or Dallas, that all the Negroes were shooting at them, it was true. First of all, I'm a Negro and I was around them. And they're conversing with me, yeah, we're going to get this money from the Iranians, we're going to do that. You know what I mean? So what I'm telling the Iranians, or hinting to them, I'm not guessing at it, I'm sitting there, you know, and they doing all kind of stupid stuff. When Dr. Khalil Siddiqui, maybe it was around 85, 86, in LA, here's a group of Negroes. They're going to try to, they're standing all tough, wearing the LA bulletproof vest.